Hello, this is Virginia Pepke. This summer, I completed my practicum at the Norwegian American Genealogical Center and Library in Madison, Wisconsin. I considered the relationship between cataloging, ethics, and privacy. Initially founded in the 1970s, the Norwegian American Genealogical Center and Library acts as a resource for its members and members of the public who might want to learn more about their heritage, discover whether they have Norwegian heritage, learn more about where their ancestors may have lived following their immigration from Norway, and learn more about genealogy in general. Because the library accepts donations from the public and the library's collection includes information about individual families, this raised questions about privacy. Leaving aside questions about how the library uses the information contained in donations, and because of the personal nature of information that is often included in donations to the library, potential donors may not feel comfortable having information about their family history available in a publicly accessible library. Sheila Blair's article, Toward a Code of Ethics for Catalogers, provided a few key takeaways. These are as follows. Catalogers are encouraged to seek assistance when creating catalog records for items with which they are unfamiliar. Catalogers are encouraged to provide accurate representation of the item following existing guidelines and rules. Catalogers are encouraged to prioritize the informational needs of users and clients and the right to intellectual freedom over their individual needs and beliefs. Catalogers are encouraged to provide knowledgeable application of relevant information and applications of subject headings and organizational schemes, as well as a complete description and notes about the item. The American Library Association's Code of Ethics also provided a few key takeaways. These are as follows. Libraries and library staff should resist efforts to censor library resources, including catalogers who may do this inadvertently, based on what they think is most important or what information is included in the cataloging record. Librarians and library staff should respect intellectual property rights and promote a balance between the rights of users and those of rights holders. Librarians and library staff should provide the highest level of service to users through appropriate, well-organized policies and polite responses to informational requests. In researching this topic and question, two key findings emerged. Considering cataloging would be impossible without also considering broad ethical guidelines for libraries. Considering ethics for libraries would be impossible without acknowledging the range of motivation for donating to a library. Especially in cases where the subject of the donated item is deceased, potential donors may have concerns about how the donated item is used if it is made publicly available. If the donated work was created before the widespread use of the internet and other digital research tools, it is especially important to use existing cataloging tools to ensure the accurate presentation of information. Library patrons and donors may not appreciate the effort required to create cataloging records using Past Perfect and other existing programs. Because of this, and because of a lack of understanding about how library item records are used, unease about donating items to a library may increase. A few challenges arose while researching this topic. These included narrowing down where to find information about American Library Association guidelines, deciding which library-based professional organization to focus on while doing research, deciding whether to focus on physical or digital collections, and deciding whether to focus on cataloging practices in the United States or elsewhere. Because all the items are cataloged for physical as opposed to digital, I focused on physical collections. I chose to focus on United States cataloging practices because my Practicum site library is located within the United States. I had a few successes during this project, these including finding resources available from the American Library Association and my ability to incorporate them into the project, as well as using the cataloging experience I gained as inspiration for the question. Based on my experience at the Practicum site, the Norwegian American Genealogical Center and Library does uphold guidelines for catalogers and the guidelines laid out by the American Library Association. Additionally, this library does work to uphold the American Library Association's guidelines and create accurate cataloging records. Based on work done both on-site and independently, the cataloging practices employed by the Norwegian American Genealogical Center and Library do align with both American Library Association's ethics guidelines and ethics designed for use by catalogers. Based on the experience I gained while completing my practicum, site staff and those who work to catalog the collection can engage in a discussion of privacy concerns as it relates to cataloging and the relationship between cataloging ethics, while also maximizing the creation of accurate cataloging records.